Hey folks, thanks for stopping by the shop for another video. Today, we're sitting in the shop and we're going to talk about one creature comfort in particular, and that is my Comfort Total mini split that I bought on either eBay or Amazon for less than $500. Man, what a bargain this has been so far, guys. So just looking real quick, I've had this since the end of June, so let's see, July, August, September, October. So I've had it for a solid 3 months now. So it's a quarter update, let's call it. Man, it works flawlessly. The thing was easy to install. Don't let that scare you if you're afraid to install one yourself. Mine in particular, I probably should have upsized just a little bit in retrospect, but it's fine because I wanted to do a video showing that you could do a 110 without having to rewire anything. It's a regular 110 outlet, just like you would plug anything into in your house. 220 is certainly doable if you have a little electrical experience and are comfortable with it. But as far as buying it, it's pretty well a do-it-yourself install. I don't know the legality. You might check in your areas in regards to pulling a vacuum on it. But if you can pull a vacuum on it and you can rent a vacuum gauge or you have one on hand, there's no reason that you can't install this yourself. And I mean, I'm talking like if you have done any sort of handiwork in your house whatsoever, hour or two tops. I mean, obviously a little bit longer. You got to let the vacuum do its deal, but actual physical labor of installing, maybe an hour or two. If you can hang something on a wall and you can wire a little bit of electrical and connect a few lines, this is easy. So as far as installing, it gets an A+ from me. It's super easy to install. The unit itself, I really like. In fact, let me go get my temperature gun so you can see the temperature. It's hiding from me in the house. I found it though. But this is a little infrared thermometer is all this is. See, if I pull the trigger, they're actually kind of cool. See how it shoots a little dot on the wall? I can measure a temperature. So you can see the wall in here is about 72 degrees. The shop is uninsulated. Now, of course, it's evening now and it's cooling off. In fact, let's look and see real quick. So it's 72 degrees outside right now, but today was 90 degrees plus. And now this is just like any HVAC unit. I'm not saying this is just Comfort Total, but any HVAC unit like this that's using coolant, don't expect this to be something that, unless you just got a small area or you just way oversize your unit, this is not something that you're just going to turn on and it's going to be immediately cool in there. It needs to run for a while to cool things down. But I can tell you, I've got probably a, gosh, I don't know, 800,000 square foot shop here. And it's uninsulated. I'm talking walls, rafters, roof, everything. Nothing's insulated in here. Got a concrete pad. Even at 90 degrees today, whenever I was out here earlier, my thermometer pretty much stayed at anywhere between 73 and 75, and I had it set on 72 the whole time. So even this little 1200 BTU unit in an uninsulated area does a pretty darn good job of keeping it cool. So that's what I wanted to do. I want to take you, let's flip you around so you can see my view. Let's go take some measurements on it and I'll show you live proof here what the temperature is in the shop. Doesn't this look nice? A nice, fairly, almost clean workbench. Hey, that's pretty good for me. Okay, let's take a look here. So you can see I've got a couple of thermometers here. The relative humidity in here is nice and low because, I mean, if I'm being honest with you, as hot as it was today, this thing is run all day long. So yeah, it's the relative humidity is going to be, what does it show? Somewhere between 35 and 45%, depending on what you're looking at. This says it's about 75, the actual one with mercury. This one says we're at, what is it there? That's the barometer reading, 73.6. So keep in mind, this is on the side of the wall that the sun sets. So this wall probably is going to be a bit warmer than over here. Coming over to the mini split. This is the unit itself. And honestly, I mean, A+ to this unit too. It's easy to use. It's got multiple functions on the remote, which I'll show you here in just a few. I really, really like the touch of the digital readout there. It's LED, so if it's flickering a little bit, that's just because of how the camera's picking it up. It's easy to use. You can pull the front open just like so. Don't mind all the crap flying out. It'll sit up just like that. And you've got some filters in here that you can change or clean if you want to. You can close it right up just like that. It's got Wi-Fi connectivity, which is another nice point that I'll talk about here in just a few. But what you guys are interested in is, okay, on a 72 degree night, what are we pumping out of here? 46 degrees. And I can tell you that's actually even accurate up to about the 90 degree mark. It's still pumping out some nice cold air. I'll say too, I'll do an update, another one, maybe a 6-month update in the wintertime, because it just hadn't really been cold enough for me to use the heat pump, the heat feature of it. But I can tell you it does work. I've turned it on a night that it probably got down to about 60 degrees or so, and it'll spit out air that's about 90 degrees or so. We'll do another video. Don't just take that for a grain of salt. I want to do an updated video whenever it's wintertime on how well it does, because, you know, cooling down from 90, 100 degree day to 70 is one thing. It's a 30 degree difference. But whenever it's wintertime, you know, we can have some doozies here where, you know, I mean, last year we had some record breaking where it was, gosh, it got in the negative teens, even 20s, and that's freaking cold. Trying to warm it up to 70, that's probably going to be a task that doesn't really work, but we've got some backup propane measures for that. And as long as it'll knock the cold off and keep it above freezing, that's my main goal here. Now, if this shop was insulated, I think it probably would. But going back to the unit itself, it's really, really nice. As I mentioned earlier, as you can see, I've got it temporarily redneck engineered, hooked up to a 110 plug here, and you just wire all that in. It's really easy. This will go up and down depending on the remote function. So right now it's stationary, but it'll actually blow air up and down. It's got several different modes. I'll show you those here in just a few. Here's kind of a side profile. It's got cutouts so you can run your cords either way. As you can see, I've got mine run out that way. It's got some information on the side. As far as wattage, the thing, it probably doesn't use, I didn't actually put a meter on it, but it probably uses between, it's crazy, I know this sounds crazy, somewhere between probably 900 and 1,000 watts. And whenever it's pumping out 1,800 BTU, that's pretty good. Oops, I apologize earlier if I said 1,800 BTU. This is the 1,200 BTU unit. The 1,800 BTU unit, that was the one that required 220. This one only requires 110, which if you don't know what that is, that's just a regular plug-in in your house. But it basically says it can cool up to 600 square feet. Once again, I'm in an 800 to 1,000 foot square shop, uninsulated. It's doing the job for me. And the outdoor unit, the compressor, is a Toshiba they advertise. I guess that's a good thing. Toshiba is a pretty good brand, I know. That's what they say it is. I'm going to take their word for it. I don't have any reason not to believe that. I know some people kind of tend to be scared of this brand maybe just a little bit because it is cheaper. So far, my 3-month experience has been flawless. It's just working. If you guys are interested, I'll show you the outdoor unit here in a minute. Stay tuned. But for now, what I do want to do is I want to show you 2 different things here that really make this a solid product, in my opinion, especially at the price point. I want you to come over here and check out the mobile app, and I want you to check out the remote. We'll look at the remote first because the mobile app is just really over the top. The remote is pretty good. I will say, though, the remote, it's kind of funny in a sense. It's got the display and the readout just like you would want, but it's a little hard to determine. So obviously we've got a power button. The UVC, I think if you read the directions that it's like a self-cleaning mode or something. Eco, my understanding is if it hits a temperature, it might kind of turn itself on or off. Idea is to save electricity. Turbo is just a one-hit button. If you want it to blow hard and fast, that's it right there. This will adjust your speed of your fan. Plus, minus, pretty self-explanatory. Change the temperature of the shop itself. Change the temperature of the unit itself. The mode will change it from heat, cold, dehumidification, wind, auto, all that good stuff. This changes how the fan itself, the arm swings up and down. And then we've got a few different things on the bottom. There's another self-cleaner type deal. Timer, put it in quiet mode or sleep mode. I have no idea what the I feel button does. This will come in Celsius. And for my American friends like myself, you have to change it to Fahrenheit to make yourself more comfortable. I've got a whole little short to show you how to do that. I'll link it down below if you need to figure out how to change it on the remote. But the remote works. So this right here is the app itself. Now, I wouldn't put just a whole lot of faith in this top deal right here. The app is, I'll say this, the app gets a B- from me. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also, it leaves some to be desired, a little refinement. So, and you'll see what I mean whenever I click on it. So the app itself isn't specific to the Comfort Total. It's just an app that kind of you can add different things into. But if you, I might turn this brightness up for you so you guys can hopefully see better. Hopefully that helps. But if I go into the, I call it the shop HVAC here, I tap on that, and it's the same for my phone. I just want to show you on the iPad. But you can see I can change different settings here. I can click on this. You'll hear it beep. It changes the swing of that. Right now it's in the fixed position. It won't let me change it, probably because I have the turbo mode on. I can hit this. You can see we can go from a cold, a wind, dehumidification, warm. Those are the different statuses that we have. The wind just leaves the fan on. Dehumidification, well, actually, it'll run as a dehumidifier. Warm, makes it warm, obviously. And cold is the AC part of it. Auto will set it to whatever you need it to be. So like right now, I've got it set at 72 degrees. Once it achieves 72 degrees, it turns off the compressor, my understanding, and just runs the fan. The fan will run continually while the thing's on. If I had it set to auto, even if it had got cold, it would say, okay, I need to maintain 72 degrees, so I'm gonna turn the heat on. You guys are probably familiar with that with your normal HVAC anyway. So you can change the scenario there. You can change the fan speed from high, they misspelled it there, you can see, to low, middle, auto. And you can see that I've got the turbo on, which turbo is just a really nice fast way to turn that fan speed really high, get it going. You've got a timer for on, off, and then just a nice on and off. And then I can adjust the temperature right here. And listen, with it hooked to my Wi-Fi, listen how fast it changes. So I'm gonna click it and you're gonna hear it beep in the background. I mean, it's instantaneous. Really, really neat. So the mobile app is just a little, I don't know, it feels to me, and this is speaking from a guy that just does IT work, it feels a little clunky. It's not the absolute best designed. I'm not saying I could do any better, but it's, I don't know, just, I'm not super crazy about it. It works though, and it works in the sense that if I go in here and make a change, it's gonna work. The saving grace is this right here, something called Scene. What you can do with this thing is you can set up tasks for this thing to run. So I'm not gonna click on these because I just don't wanna show my location necessarily. But basically how I have these set up is what happens is as soon as it sees that I leave my house within 300 feet, and you can set the parameters, it turns off. And then whenever I get back home, it turns on. So the idea in theory behind that is obviously whenever I'm at work, I'm not at my shop playing, doing things, working. I don't really need to be running the air, right? Let's save the electricity. But whenever I'm home in the afternoons or the weekends, or like right now, I'm taking a little vacation from work, then I can have this thing on. And that way, if I wake up in the morning and I want to come out here and work, Creature Comforts, it's ready for me to go no matter if it's hot or cold. Now, yes, you can overwrite this. So let's say I left and went to town just for a little bit. If I wanted to, I could go right in there while I'm in town, and I could go back right here to home, go into this, and I could turn that on. So you can override that. So, you know, if you got a hot day and you're just going to leave for a few hours, but you know you're coming back and you want to cool that thing down, you can go right in here. And those aren't the only parameters. You can set them based on certain temperatures, certain times of day, night, whatever. I mean, that part is really, really cool. I'm standing here with my lapel mic on. The thing's really quiet. Even on turbo, if I hit turbo, a little bit louder, I can feel a breeze on me. But it's not loud at all. Let's just put it back on auto. I like auto because, you know, like right now, if it feels good in here and it's comfortable, I don't need the fan blowing super hard. Now, if I come out here and it's sweltering hot and I've been gone all day and I wants to cool off, then I can hit that turbo button and it'll cool off pretty quick. That in and of itself is the remote. I just kind of leave mine hanging up out there with that stuff because I'm afraid of losing it. You know, it's nighttime and I'm out here shooting a video, but I I want to go ahead and get it done. Let's go outside, and even though it's dark, I'll shine a light on it and show you guys the outside portion of the unit. Ooh, it's an October night. Kind of spooky out here. We'll turn the corner here. That's a nice little plug for Milwaukee there. It's my Milwaukee light. Not a paid advertisement. But you can see one thing that I've done out here. This is the outdoor unit. I don't know if you guys can hear it running. You know, from 5 foot away, yeah, I can certainly hear the thing running. You can see on the back side of it, they say you're not supposed to coil up those lines like that. I haven't had any trouble with it myself, but I've got it there. And I did buy this as an extra deal there. The lines hanging out are kind of unsightly. You might want something like that. Match the trim of the house, and it fits up there nicely, so I like it. But the outdoor unit itself, you got to do a little wiring up on this side here. It's not bad. I just put a few blocks under it, keep it level, looking nice, kind of like it looks like it belongs at a home. You can see it's got a little handle here. It's easy to pick up. I mean, it don't weigh 30, 40 pounds. And I've got a condensation line running off here into the woods that I just realized the squirrels have chewed the heck out of. If you were to ask me, would I buy this thing again? 110, 120%, no problem. Wouldn't have any qualms about doing it again. It's pretty great, guys. I mean, it was cheap, which I really like, and that was my whole purpose. Is I wanted to see, because a lot of people out there, they don't want to buy the most expensive of everything, and that's okay sometimes. If it works for your purpose, then let it be. So I thought I'd make a great video to show you guys, and obviously keep me comfortable in the shop. So $500 that I'm into it, it works, and it works really good. The remote works pretty good. The app, well, I don't know. It just doesn't feel polished to me. It does everything that I need it to do. It does everything that I could want out of that unit over there. And it has Wi-Fi. I mean, I don't see anybody else doing this at this price point. I got to say, too, this is also a nice alternative one might think about, in the sense, I'm not saying this thing's going to keep your whole house warm or cold, but I've thought about, too, in the event of a power outage, if it was really hot, I can run this thing off of my little Honda 220 generator, no problem. Hot or cold. I mean, I could heat this place. I could cool it with that little Honda generator, or just a generator in general. Now, obviously, I've got, a little fireplace in the house and whatnot, but options are good, right? Well, guys, I think that's going to be about a wrap for me tonight. What did I miss? Was there anything that I missed? If so, leave me comments down below to let me know if you have any questions about this. And obviously, as we go through time here, I'll make some updated videos, especially as we go into the future. I'll keep you guys updated, especially whenever it gets cold. I want to see how well it works in wintertime. Right now, fortunately, we're moving into fall, pretty mild. The dehumidification is pretty nice, though, as you saw. The humidity is what really hits you here in the Ozarks, especially in summertime. Even if, let's say I turn this thing on and set it to 80, it might be 80 degrees in here, but it's a low humidity, and it's a whole lot better than 80 with 100% humidity. I promise you that. Just come pay us a visit. You'll understand. But just as I mentioned a minute ago, if you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I'll be sure to get to them. Guys, thanks for staying tuned this long. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like this. Subscribe if you haven't. We got lots of other fun stuff coming along, and lots of cool old videos that you haven't checked out yet. So go take a look at those. All right, until the next one, take care.